And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is JP, retired U.S. Army paratrooper who's had ET contact in Brazil and during his tour of duty. JP, thanks for joining me and welcome.
I'm happy to be here, Jeff. It's a beautiful feeling when people invite me to hear my message and my story of how everything happened. Thank you for inviting me to your show.
Well, we're happy to have you, JP. And let's start at the beginning with your very first contact in Brazil.
Sure. I went to Brazil to meet my father-in-law. And Brazil is a beautiful country. Para todos os brasileiros, oi, tudo bem? I just said in Portuguese for all the Brazilians, hi, how you doing? I went to Brazil, I come from a Christian background. So we're going church to church, and my father-in-law told me, hey, there's a farm, right, in the middle of Goiânia. We have to go there. We're going to stay there for a couple of days. And I said, yeah, let's go. And he said, there's going to be food. I said, oh, my God, wherever there's Brazilian food, I have to go there. So, they have churrasco, they have that rice and beans. So this is good food. So, I said, okay, let's go over there. Let's go to the farm. Let's have fun. So we go to this farm, and I noticed that it's really long to get to the location where we go. A lot of dirt roads and all that, like the back parts of Alabama, like a lot of dirt roads. And we get into this farm, and then there's no light pollution. The night comes, there's no light pollution. We're on horseback. Like it brings you back like to the 1800s. That's how cool it is. The water comes from a stream into the farm. We got oranges, we got all kind of fruits. You got to be careful with the panthers. That same day, I was feeding the cows. Because I didn't know how that was done in Brazil. So they asked me, hey, you want to come with us and feed the cows? So I was feeding the cows, and then that same day, the farmer comes up and says to me, hey, we got to take the salt out. I said, why do we got to take the salt out? He said, oh, because it's going to start to rain. I'm like, oh, no, because once the rain hits their food, it expands, so it can kill the cows. So that same night, we were sleeping, and out from the window, Jeff, I see a pulsing light. And I look at this pulsing light, and it's 3:00 in the morning. Everybody else is sleeping. And I look at it, and I get up. I'm without shoes, I start walking out the door. And over there, the dirt is red, so your feet gets really dirty if you go without shoes. It turns red. So I go out and I start going towards this pulsing light. So I get close to this light, and it's the size of a minivan, two minivans, and it looks really oval. I'll send you a picture of this. This is really interesting. And I see it pulsating. So I'm like, what the heck is this? And that time, I didn't know nothing about UFO, about ETs, about, what is contact. I go to church. So in my mind, okay, this can be something spiritual, it could be something, nice. So I go to it and I decide to touch it. So when I touch it, the hairs of my body goes up. I feel a metallic taste in my tongue. And I'm like, what the heck is this? I close my eyes. I open my eyes. And I'm back in the farm. You can see my footsteps through the red dirt. And I'm back in the bed. So that was my first experience I had with a physical ship. I had something that happened in New York when I was smaller, and something happened to my dad in Puerto Rico when he was younger as well. So I think it's like a generational thing that happens. They contact generationally, and I'm sure something happened with my grandpa as well.
Are you aware if you experienced lost time?
Yes, yes, I experienced a lot of lost time, a lot of lost time. So I don't know if I went to the ship. I don't know if so when I came back from the States, I started getting flashbacks of what happened in Brazil. And I started getting like equations and all that. And I decided to interact with a neuroscience scientist from USF. And I started developing this kind of like box and also a wand type of technology that I could connect. I found I found this metal wire walking in the woods in the States, and I started developing these little type of technologies. They can't talk. I don't think I could talk a lot about it right now, but my house got ransacked and they took the technology. So I don't know who did, but they took it. But when I came back from Brazil, I was regular. We stayed there for a month in Brazil, and this happened during the middle of Brazil. But when I came back from Brazil, I told my wife what happened, and the farmer apparently he says that things like that happen in the farm. So I start walking towards my job, and I see this egg-shaped ship landing in the parking lot. And I'm like looking like, what the heck is this? Like what's happening? And I see this Indian guy comes out in a beautiful white long suit, like one of those. It looked like a ancient Roman robe, and he invites me in. There I go with him. It gets insane, Jeff, because prior from that, I'm jumping all over the place because it's so much to talk about. Prior from that, I when I get back to Brazil, I don't know nothing about ETs or ET contacts. I started doing research. Okay, I saw a ship, in the computer. I saw a ship on a farm or a car or something that was glowing, and I touched it, and I was scared, that something would happen to me. And I called Dr. Sala for the first time, and he's an expert on exopolitics. He has a PhD, and I called him, and he's like, "Oh, email me." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I told him, "Hey, I had an experience in Brazil with something that glows and that looks like a UFO." So he started talking to me, and we started exchanging exchanging my stories of what's happening. And he wanted to know what's been happening since I came back from Brazil. I get picked up by a white van, and they take me to a facility, and they start not interrogating me, but asking me questions, saying, "Hey, we saw that you went to Brazil and you had an experience." And I look at the guy and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Can you take me back to the work?" And he's like, "No, we know what's happening. You had an experience in Brazil. We need to know more details about it." Um, and I'm like, I told them the truth. And from there on, they kept like following me and, you know, it kept getting to the point that almost every other day they kept like following me, and you know, every like once a week taking me to a certain location, talking to me about my experiences. And one day they tell me, they park and they say, "Hey, we want you to start taking pictures of what's happened." And I'm like, "Take pictures of what? What are you guys talking about?" So he they tell me to take pictures, and I go out with my camera and I start taking pictures of these ships that they look like triangular, like TR-3Bs, and they start glowing. And I take video and picture, but the video, they start disappearing from my phone. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? I still got the pictures, but the pictures, I send them right away to Dr. Michael Sala before they took it out from my phone. And there was even one picture that made it to the Tampa Bay Times, and they started talking about it. Oh, this guy took a picture of this, and he was told to, and I kept taking pictures of spacecrafts, cigar-shaped ships, and this was prior from me entering the military, the best military in the whole world. You know, I moved I kept getting these experiences. I moved to Orlando, Florida, and apparently these people kept like following me, saying, "Hey, we need you to keep taking pictures," and so I took another picture, and it went viral. A saucer-shaped UFO with a corridor, and you could see silhouettes of two beings looking down. And I'll share all these pictures, and I think, Jeff, I gave you a link also with all these experiences. It's just so much information, and then they approached me and says, "Hey, we want you to join the military." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not joining the military. I don't want to be, since I was small, I wanted always to join the military, but in that moment, I did not want to go into the military. I was 34, I'm old, I lost my job. I lost my job, and those guys, they approached me again and said, "Hey, we want you to join." So I'm like, "All right, let's join the military. Let's serve this beautiful country." I joined in the Trump administration. I went to Fort Jackson, Fort Lee, Virginia, Fort Benning, Georgia, for airborne school, and I was stationed in Eglin Air Force Base. And I started getting these experiences, and it's not only me, it's other soldiers. Um, and I was getting the green light to talk about my experiences, and I did not know why, Jeff. I was like, "What's happening? Why am I the only one that is, to talk?" Says, "Oh no, we want you to protect your face uh, for now." And I kept having these experiences, uh, doing different types of missions. That's the that's a small part of my experiences, but in between that, there's a lot that went on.
I want to take you back to when the guy from the egg-shaped ship contacted you and he was wearing the Roman robes. You said he was Indian, like from India or Native American?
From India.
India.
Looking.
Do you believe he was an ET or a human flying an ET ship?
He told me that they have a location on the moon that they live in.
What else did he tell you? What did you guys talk about?
Well, he took me. I went inside this ship, and he took me to different types of domes that have like certain types of vegetation. These domes has plants that probably does not exist right now. They're extinct, but they have medicinal properties still. And he took me to these domes that are the size of stadiums. And I do not know the locations of these domes. I just got taken there to these domes. And he was telling me about each dome. And then he used to bring me back to the location where, and I'm sure that other people, they were tracking me when I was going to these egg ships, and they knew I was going on. So they really want to know what happened in Brazil, and then what activated the other ships to keep picking me up. So they were really interested in what happened in Brazil and why these ships they come down. In different conferences, I have summoned ships down, and they come down. Uh, in other places, like behind my backyard, they also come down, and you can see shit. I got video of that, of them interacting with me, and yeah, he just an egg-shaped ship that comes down. This is when I was not in the military, and he picks me up and he takes me to different places.
What did the inside of the ship look like?
The inside of the ship it has like a seat, it is smoothed in into the wall. They have these metal balls that are connected to the, I think, side of the door, that you can grab them, and you got to take them with you every time you get off the ship. Everything looks like smooth out, like it was cut in, like a cut and paste inside. Uh, don't know how they control it to fly.
Did you see a console, or do you think they flew it telepathically?
I didn't see no console. I think the ship itself it flies itself with connected to the person that is with the ship. These ships are alive. That's all I can tell you. They feel like if they were a type of pet of the person that flies it, and it protects the person as well.
At some point in your life, you started having contact with the Nordics, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So when I came back and I started building these little technologies, or whatever you want to call them, I started getting flashbacks of me meeting up with the Nordics in Brazil. And I can clearly see them. They look like that, with long hair. And they kept contacting me, and I could see them. And there has been a couple times that they have had, like, they're in my backyard and they're standing, and I have talked to them. There's the ones that they come down in the ship, and there's the Nordics that come, and they just appear like if they were from an interdimensional realm, and you could feel a beautiful vibration from them. And then you got the ones that wear the uniform. Things are negative type of Nordics that work with other types of governments around the world. So, the same thing as I always say this in all my talks, there's good cops, there's bad cops, there's bad doctors, there's good doctors. Same thing with ETs, there's always a negative part that don't want this other these other Nordics to help humanity. So it's a beautiful experience when you interact with them.
How did you change as a person after this contact started?
It made me question a lot about religion. I still have my religious belief. I believe in Jesus Christ. I still go to church, but it makes you think about what else is out there. It makes you think that we as humans, we don't know nothing yet about our history. We are we are we have amnesia. We forget about the past. It changed the way it changes the way you see everything. Jeff, you see everything more with love, with care, with more experiences. You guide yourself to the better half of what's happening. It just changes the way you see life when you have these experiences. Like if I was you question yourself, why did I experience this? And you realize that not a lot of people goes through these experiences, but when you realize that you experience it for a reason, and that reason, and that reason is to share it to the public, and also, being in the military, I was getting the green light from the higher ups to talk about my experiences. And yes, I was scared because I don't know if I was sharing something that I wasn't supposed to, but I was getting told from the higher ups to talk about it. In the military, you're told what to do. So I was being protected. Like everywhere I traveled, there was people with me from the unit where I was, and I'm still being protected. So it changes your life, Jeff, and I'm sure other soldiers that have been coming out with information. I'm sure they're getting the green light to talk about it, because you just don't come out and say these things. You have to get permission. You do, or things happens.
What is the title of your book?
It's called U.S. Army Insider 1. Dr. Michael Sala wrote this book about me. I want people to understand that it says insider, but I'm not like a whistleblower, okay? I get the green light to talk about my experiences. I don't want that to get confused with people. And the information that I talk about, the information was already out there. I'm just bringing out my experiences that I had. This one is space arcs, underground cities, in ET contacts, and then you got U.S. Army Insider 2. Okay, this one is underground cities, giants, and spaceports. That's really interesting. And then this is U.S. Army Insider 3, Nordic ETs, space arcs, and Saturn.
Are you still having contact today?
I had a contact a week ago with a Nordic extra dimensional being. Yeah.
How does it usually happen?
So I'm cutting the grass. This last experience I had, I was cutting the grass. I live in a place that there's a lot of vegetation in my backyard. I also live with other people that are, they're safe to be with. And I see like a shine inside the woods. And, when you get that feeling, uh, you know what to feel, you know what to look for. So I drop everything and I start walking towards this shine, and I see this Nordic guy sitting on a tree stump. And I ask him, "Hey, who are you?" And I really need to know who you are. I really ask him because I don't usually ask questions when I meet up with these guys. When I meet up with the Nordics, I just go with them, or if we're in a mission with the military, they tag along and we do what we need to do, and then we come back. And you just don't ask questions. You just do what you're told to do. And I'm allowed to talk about things, but not certain things for the security of certain things. So he tells me, we are from the future, we are from the past, and we are from the present. And I said, wait, what are you talking about? And then he says, we are those that you guys call the sons of God. So I'm like, wait a second, you know, are these angelic beings that I'm interacting with? Who are these beings? And he kept talking to me about how they've been interacting with humanity for thousands of years and teaching humanity for thousands of years. And he gives me this like acorn, and I look at it, and then I look down and he just disappears. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like it makes you feel like you're nuts, when you go through these experiences. So I really talk to psychologists, and I really talk to people that have PhDs to tell them, hey, this is happening to me. I don't know like if this is normal, but this is happening to me. And I got physical proof. I got pictures, I got videos, and I don't know what's going on, but this is happening to me. And it's hard because this happens to other military people too, and other civilians, and they just don't talk about it because there's a certain fashion of people that don't want them to talk about it. But like, why am I allowed to talk about it? So I get scared. I get scared for my life sometimes, because I do get nutty people like following me out of nowhere. So and I get video proof. It's not like I'm not seeing it, but I get proof that they're following me, and I make sure that I'm seeing it. So I keep everything aligned. The pictures, the videos, the proof of people, you know, are there watching, and it's just an amazing experience when you contact these these beings. You feel a different vibration. You feel a different vibe. You feel like if you connect more to the earth when you're talking to them.
It appears that the ones that you interact with are the good guys.
Yeah, I'm sure they're the good guys. I have interacted with the bad ones before, and it's a bad feeling.
What other ETs have you had contact with? Like reptilians?
I seen like a reptilian in Orlando in the beginning of my experiences. I went down this like this road just opened up, and it went down like to a ramp, and I seen the I start walking, and I see this reptilian, but it's like a vivid memory, and then I come back. Uh, but this was like a couple, like maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. I have experienced shadow looking beings. as well, following me, and also in my houses. Like you could see them in the corner, and I also got video and pictures of that. Uh, but it's more like the Nordics. The Greys and those types of aliens, I did see them interacting with the Marines from far away, and you could smell them. That's what I remember about these Greys with like black uniform. You could smell like something burnt. Like if you burnt a wheel, a car wheel, like if you burn it, you smell that from like a distance. You can smell them, and you also feel like a not a negative vibe, but you feel like keep your distance. But the I interacted with the Indian guy that comes out from an egg-shaped ship. Uh, he told me that he was from the moon. I'm like, okay. There's a lot of moons in our solar system. Which moon are you talking about? He told me it was Earth, the moon that goes around Earth. He was more specific. I'm like, where and what location you guys are located? He says under the moon surface. There's ancient tubes, volcanic tubes that have a Goldilocks zone that keeps a regular temperature, and we have the technology to have that and to live there. And he told me that he was let like similar to me, that the people that live in the moon don't know about Earth. They thought Earth was destroyed, or it's no life on Earth. So these people that are in the moon also though don't interact with Earth, and we don't know about their existence. So he was like talking to me that he was like similar to me, like, and I'm like, oh man. And then not too long ago, I think like what, a year ago, this pilot comes out with an egg-shaped ship, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? I talked about this with Dr. Sala years before, and this guy starts talking about it. I'm like, what the heck is going on? That was a good confirmation for me and for Dr. Sala and for those people that I told that experience to.
Some people talk about the Galactic Federation. Is that real?
I think it's real. I think they have been in contact with us for a long time. They I can't really talk a lot about it, Jeff,
All right.
but yes, I think it's real.
What other planets or asteroids have you been to?
Moon, I have experienced Jupiter, Saturn, a moon on Jupiter called Ganymede, Europa.
What was Ganymede like?
Oh, they have it's alive. It has like horseshoe buildings. It has entrances that go into the moon, and there's oceans in there, and there's a lot of different types of ETs that there's like a hub. Like they go there, and like with the governments, not just the United States, the governments around the world, around Earth, we went there as an armada of ships. I have vivid memories, but I remember like things that really shocked me. When you start getting close to Jupiter, you feel like a vibration in your body. Like if your heart starts mimicking the pulse of Jupiter, and every planet has a different pulse of existence. And it has a lot of different entrances, and it has a lot of different other types of ETs that work there as well. They have ancient ruins or ancient libraries are protected. They have other people that work there. But this is, I, I also believe that this is also all around our solar system. It's not just it's not just Ganymede. It's all around our solar system that we have these little like protected zones, and the technology is like far off than what you can imagine that these people have. The technology is so advanced, Jeff. It's just thousands of years more of what we see now. You know, it's the technology that we have. It's sometimes it makes me even cry, Jeff, because but I think soon this information is going to come out. I think all this all these technologies and all these moons are inhabited by different ET races, you know. We got this what 3I Atlas coming in our solar system right now. It's like everything is happening little by little.
Do you think full disclosure is going to happen soon?
I think it is. I think it's drip dropping right now. Yeah, I think full disclosure is going to happen of what these beings are, and they're going to really tie it to the spiritual realm and the interdimensional realm and time. Uh, it's going to be all weird for a lot of people to comprehend, but I think the public needs to know already about this information. Yeah, I think disclosure is going to happen like that. These beings are interdimensional.
Do the ships travel interdimensionally?
They do, and they also go to different times of Earth history as well. So it could be in our time, but and then it could be in a different time. Like, and there's different times. The way I understood it, you know, it was like that. They can travel, like everything is happening in the now. There's no time. Everything is in our what you perceive is what's happening now. And there's no past, there's no future. There's only a present that everything happens at once. So these ships they travel using like a technology that interacts with the consciousness, and depending on what the person is thinking, it just goes to
What
that
can
location.
what can you tell us about the exopolitics of these beings and the Earth and where everything is headed?
I'm not a professional on exopolitics. I know Dr. Michael Sala. He's a professor on that. Of what I know is, I think they're trying to help humanity. Uh, there's a fashion that is trying to help humanity and release technologies like all these AI, all these cell phones. It comes from them. You know, these technologies come from them. Uh, it's I think they're trying to bump us up to a level that is close to their level. I don't think we will ever be on their level, but they want to bump us up to be close enough for them to reveal themselves to us. So there's a universal law that they can't interact with us. Similar to, it's crazy because there's certain shows on TV that really are spot on. I think there's people that know information that they drip it into their TV shows or movies and all that, like Star Trek. You can't interact with a civilization not unless they're developed. So it's similar to these ETs. They don't want to release a technology that we don't understand yet. We have to comprehend it, and then they release it to us. So it's not just one person or three-person comprehending. They need a mass of consciousness comprehending the technology.
Since you've had contact with the ETs, do you think the general public could handle it?
I think we're getting to a time. I think I know a lot of people are talking about AI and how AI are doing realistic videos and all that. But I think it's getting to a time that, yes, by the things we're already seeing with technology, I think we have the capability to comprehend, yes, this contact and accept it. I think we have the capability of accepting it now. I don't think maybe 5 years ago, no, negative. But now, where we're at, I think we have the capability of understanding what is ET contact. And I think it's going to happen soon. I think it's going to happen soon.
When you first had contact, you were afraid, right?
I was confused, not
Mhm.
afraid.
Okay.
I was confused of what was happening because I am a religious person. You know, I go to church. So I was confused, you know, and then I talked to other people. I was like, oh, they're demons, leave them alone, you know. So I didn't see it like that. I saw it I saw it like a gift. Like they gift me to contact them. So I see it like that. You know, my first experience. See, my first experience was when I think I was like 11 or 9 there in upstate New York. I followed an orb, a light of orb, into the woods, and I was in my boxers, and it was snowing. And I get into the woods, and everything just freezes. I don't hear no birds. I don't hear no nothing. Everything is silent. Like you can hear a pin drop. And the same thing happened. I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes and I was back home. So it's like a repeat, but it's like the second experience in Brazil just opened my eyes. The first one I thought it was like something spiritual that happened to me or a dream, but it physically happened because I came back with my boxers and everything was wet in the snow. So it's just it makes you question life more. It makes you question life in a way that you're here for a purpose.
Have the ETs ever revealed to you the history of humanity? And if so, what can you share with us?
They have told me that they have been visiting us for thousands of years and contacting us for thousands of years. Uh, I know uh, that there is a supreme being. Yeah, there is a God that created everything out from existence. I believe in the spiritual realm, yes, because I've seen things that make me believe that that does exist. I I think it's going to be a time that they're going to show themselves, and I think they're going to explain a little bit more about the history of humanity more because throughout history we're finding ancient ruins all over the place, Jeff. We're finding ancient things that we can't explain, monoliths. We're ruins on Mars, ruins on the part that we can't see in the moon. Uh, like for example, this 3I atlas coming in our solar system right now. What is it? Is it ancient? Was it something that seeded Earth and then went out and it's come back? Is it something that is gonna contact Earth? Right now, they're saying it broke in two pieces. So now it's two pieces that are heading this way. So we don't know if it goes behind the sun, if it's gonna separate and one goes over here and the other one goes to Jupiter. So there's a lot of things going on right now that I think that it's gonna open our eyes about the history of humanity, of why we're here. The last thing I heard is just maybe we come from Mars a couple 100,000 years ago. And we were just put here by supreme being.
Have you ever been on
Um,
Mars?
I don't have recollection of being on Mars, but I know there's people that have been going to Mars, other soldiers that have been going over there. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Ceres in the asteroid belt?
No, no, I have never been to Ceres, but I know that they exist and I know that it's habited. Yeah. It's well, other types of soldiers that go there.
I don't know if you believe in reincarnation, but if so, do you think it's possible that you were an ET in a previous life?
I believe that we are throughout history, we come back. I think something like that. Yeah. I don't know if I was an ET, but I do have vivid memories of me being like another soldier somewhere else. And I could totally see my plates and I could see like ancient looking, but I think it was a long, long time ago. I do believe that uh I was something before. Yeah. I think we are all there's 8 billion people living on Earth, uh, or more, even more. I believe it's a cycle. Yeah, it could be a cycle. With the things that I saw and experienced, it could be a cycle. I think we're jumping. This is my hypothesis. I think everything is happening at once. And like, say, if you pass, right, you wake up in the 1800s, or you wake up in the 1500s. Or if I pass, I wake up in the 1400s or in the 1890s. I think we jump into timelines as well. It's not just coming back to the now. I think we come back into different timelines and we learn from different timelines and we come back for the future. We go back to the past. And that's what I'm trying to explain to people, that we are we are experiencing different timelines. That's what I believe. That's what I seen. The technology is out there, and the soul that we carry is really expensive, and everybody wants it. That's what I know.
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
So,
How are they up for sale?
it's not for sale. It's just you have to be careful not to not to fall in the wrong hands. Let me put it that way. I can't get more into the details on that, but maybe if you carry yourself in the right way and you do meditation and a couple things prior, you can protect your soul. You can protect your consciousness, soul, whatever you want to call it. So it's yeah, I can't get more into details on that.
Some people think that the Earth is the prison of the galaxy. Have you seen any evidence for that?
It's not like a prison. You choose to be in a prison because if you do something bad, you're going to go to a prison, right? So you decide if you want to keep living on Earth with your decisions, I guess. Or I don't see it as a prison because anybody can be freed from here, on depending on the decisions that you make. So it's not like it's more like a island. I don't know if I can put it like in that perspective, but an island surrounded by water, and you need a plane to get out or a boat to get out from the island. If you don't find a good captain to take you out from the island, you're stuck in the island. So it's the bridges you build, I think, the bridges you build with people and the love and sharing the love that can take you out from the island. I don't know if you see that. I talk a lot in codes. I'm sorry, Jeff.
That's all right. Would you consider the Earth to be an outpost far out in the galaxy from other planets that probably have commerce with each other?
Right now, we have two massive galaxies crashing into each other. So I think we could be a outpost, yeah. And ancient, yeah. We're really ancient. This a lot of ETs knows about us. They know about Earth.
Do you think ETs think we're primitive beings?
They think we have. I think they think that we have forgotten. They knew who we were, and there's people that still know who we were. Okay, so I think they think we have forgotten who we were, not that we are primitive. I think they want to keep it that way because we have a lot of potential to like change the whole area that we're in. So it's not that they think they're trying to like cover who we were. Certain ETs are trying to cover, but there's other ETs like the Nordics that really want to break that memory out from our DNA back and take us out from what we were. That's what I believe. I think.
Do you think the Nordics are related to us in any way since they look so similar to us?
I think they are. I think they're related to us. Yeah. I think they're related to humanity and the reason they're trying to help us and to share their technologies. I think they're really related. Some technology they think that we created, like the phone, where this device that we have in our hands have the ability of, in a way, of time traveling because you're capturing time and then later on you can re-see it. So they're really interested in the device that we and anything that we create. The ETs are really interested in what we create. Sometimes it's really cool. It's yeah.
Do you have a favorite race of ETs?
I think every ET has their way of living. Uh, I don't I don't choose favoritism. I think everybody has a reason to be existing in the realm that we are existing. You know, everything has a knowledge of why they're here. You know, a simple organism like the rose creates thorns. Why? You know, what makes it create the thorns? What makes it think that it's going to be eaten by something? You know, there's certain species that they're probably even smarter than us, but we can't just comprehend their knowledge or why they do things. I'm sorry, I'm talking in parables, but I
You're
hope you
fine.
understand me a little bit.
Have the ETs relayed anything to you about the current war in Russia and Ukraine?
I can tell you this about Ukraine and Russia. There's a ark under a national park over there, and they're investigating that ark.
When you say ark, do you mean a spaceship?
In different parts of our planets, there's certain arcs. We have an arc in the Atlantic. We have an arc in the Pacific. We have an arc in Brazil. We have an arc in Antarctica. We got certain types of smaller ships also that are buried, like South Korea, China, India. There's a lot of these small, like in that region of Afghanistan, Iraq, India, um, Pakistan, like all that region over there. There's small ships that are buried in different parts of the location that maybe the Indians, they call it Vimanas or whatever they want to call it. Um, these arcs I have gone into these arcs on missions before, but maybe we can get into that because that's also a beautiful experience. What I went through on visiting these arcs. So I think the war are protecting their assets or what they found, and I think it goes way beyond uh, other things, also technology and things that they're finding out now.
You're going to be speaking at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Convention coming up in a week or two, right?
I am. I'm going to be speaking there, and then for the first time, Jeff, I'm going to be revealing my face. For the
Really?
first time, I got the green light to reveal my face. So
Wow.
I'm really happy for that moment, and
So the
I
next
think it's going to be really good.
so the next time you come back, we'll get to see your face.
Yeah, yeah, you'll get to see my face, and I think people need to see the face, because some people they don't resonate like with a mask, I guess.
Mhm.
So
Isn't there like a level where people can have dinner with you or meet you in person while they're there?
yeah,
Are you going to be
there is.
participating in that?
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna be. I think that's the VIP portion, and I will. Are you gonna show up there or?
I'm not planning on it, but hopefully at some point we'll get to meet face to face.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What are you going to be talking about there?
I'm going to be talking about similar what I talked about here, but more in detail about my experiences, the beginning, the contact, and the love. That's the name of my talk. The beginning, the love, the contact, and the beginning.
Hmm.
So that's going to be my talk, like my experience, and then I think I don't know if I'm going to release my face in the beginning or in the middle of my talk. So or in the end of my talk. I'm not sure. So it's hard to talk with a mask, Jeff.
Mhm.
You get
Mhm.
sweaty, and I was doing it with a airsoft helmet that I ordered on Amazon, and they're really cool helmets. You can it has fans. It has. If you wait 1 minute, I can bring you the helmet.
Sure.
I'm going to bring you the helmet.
Yeah, you go put that on and come back. That mask is cool. Would you be classified as a super soldier, a space soldier, an insider?
I think I probably sound a little bit muffled right now, right?
A little bit, but that's okay.
Just a regular soldier, man. We're regular people. I don't classify myself as a super soldier. No, there's uh there's soldiers out there right now that are going through these experiences, and they are in space right now having these experiences, and there's nothing super about that. It's just we are chosen to do these missions, and sometimes we ask ourselves, why me? Why am I chosen? Uh,
Good
why
question.
do I have to go through this? Why is he not going? And why am I going? You don't get mad, but you just get like, why do I have to go through this and then not talk about it? So I'm talking in behalf of the other soldiers that can't talk about these experiences, Jeff. So I'm just a regular soldier. Not people might think, yeah, oh, he's a super soldier, but I don't consider myself like that. No, I'm humble, you know, um, a regular soldier that have been through experiences that changed my life.
What are some of the space suits that you've worn when you've been on other planets? What are they like?
Similar to this, I saw this and I almost started crying again because it was so similar to what I wear over there. And this has digital words on the top left up here. The mask was more smooth out, but it looks really similar to this. We wear a similar one color, solid color uh, uniform. It could be like a greenish black type of color. Uh, and also, it's tough to say because when we go through these missions, it's not that we change, is that we protect it so much. So it's not that we change to be mean. It's just we protect the technologies that we have to protect it like if it was our life. So there has been higher ups of okay, like I go through these missions, but there's other missions that the other people that go through these higher missions, they talk down on us. Like, hey, we will eliminate you if you don't get out of here, bro. Like, go. So there's even higher missions that we can't like get close to, you know. So it goes beyond through the experience that I and people think my experience is nuts, is insane, but there's missions that these other soldiers that go through them, they have like no feeling, like they they will eliminate you if you're not willing to comply.
Are any of the masks that you wear hooked up with AI technology? Like you're
I think they
talking,
are, yeah. But
like
it's not
is
like AI technology. It's like it's beyond that. It's like metals inside that connect to your head. The electrical magnetic pulses of your brain waves connects to it. Everybody's always connected to each other, so we always got comms. Um, the life supports of other people is always constantly talking to others to see who's okay, who's excited, who are you telling to calm down, who like everybody's connected to each other. You feel everybody. Like if you feel somebody get hurt, everybody gets an electrical pulse in the place where that person gets hurt. So we know, hey, who got hurt? You know, like everybody's connected. It's so cool.
it sounds like you become a hive mind, kind of like the Borg from Star Trek.
Well, you become connected. You feel other people's feelings. Yeah, similar to that, but it's more like you still have control of yourself, you know? You still got control of your decisions. It's not like somebody's controlling you. It's just you're connected to everybody and everybody's feelings, you know?
Is there a computer or like a computer robot that's connected up with you guys and it's talking to all of you?
It's not a robot. It's somebody, it's a physical person that's connected to us.
Would that be like your command leader?
Yeah, yeah. And they are in a different location. And they have the technology of quantum communication instantly. They can be anywhere and connect with us instantly.
Let's say you and your team are out on a mission patrolling some planet or something, right? What would you be doing in a situation like that? If you can answer that question.
It's more like a security and analyzing everything that's happening, like a security type. We're lock and loaded. We don't have a type of M4. It's not laser either. It's so weird to explain the weapons that we carry. It's it's uh it's like a wave. Like this weapon like is invisible. Like it's like a wave that if you shoot it to something, it's a wave of energy that can just maybe stop the heart or stop you head, stop the neurons to work, and brain dead, or it's just a weird, cool weapon. Well, no weapons are it's cool, but it's awesome to have it for protection, and it's for security reasons and to like make sure the mission is going good. And I'm sure I'm going on these missions to talk about it after too.
Are a lot of your emissions based on providing security?
It's like security, but more to gain knowledge of what's happening. To when I come back, I brief and they tell me what I can talk about and what not to talk about. Because there's things in these missions that I talk about, but there's other things that I haven't talked about yet. But I have to keep that in silence for the security.
So are you still on the team today, if that's what you would call it, you know, being a part of this group? And are you still going on missions?
I'm sure if they call me up, yeah. It's not a team. It's like nobody. Sometimes you go to different missions and nobody knows each other. You're like, I never seen you before. You know, but you just know what to do and know not what to do. They call it it's called like something about rainbow something. I can't go farther than that, but it has to do with a rainbow. Different patches, colors, and different people do different things. That's as far as I can go with that. I'm gonna take off this mask.
Okay, sure. Would it be accurate to say that your status right now is retired, but if they needed you, they could call you back in?
Yeah. Yeah, a soldier is always a soldier. Yep. They call me to serve. I'm going to serve 100% because I love this country.
Do you ever miss going on missions? Do you ever miss going on missions?
Yes, I do. I do miss going on missions, yeah.
After you've been on missions, do you find it hard coming back here and being back in earthly life?
It's hard. I have a family and it's hard to be with my family. I'm really almost always isolated in my room sometimes. And my family members, they understand that. It's tough. It's tough when you go through these experiences because I have lost people too, you know? So it just changes you, how you see life. But, you know, you just have to be happy always, I think. And you know what helps me? I don't know if this helps people, but I go to church, you know, and I think that helps me a lot. That brings me a lot of peace, you know, when I serve the Lord. Because I still think deep inside this can be also connected to the spiritual realm with the things that I saw. Yeah. So, and I think that information is going to come out about the interdimensional and the spiritual realm and how everything is connected to each other, how every consciousness is connected with each other, how these new technologies are interacting with our consciousness, and it's going to shock a lot of people when this information comes out.
Well, if people want to find out more about what you're up to, do you have a website?
I don't have a website, but I'm creating one. I got a YouTube channel.
What's that called?
JP.
What kind of videos are you posting there?
I'm just putting updates on different chapters of the books. And like, for example, my last update I did, President Trump just moved the Space Command to Alabama. And then a year ago, I talked to Dr. Sala about this beautiful update about Nordics training international pilots in this spaceport type of place in Alabama, North Alabama, close to Mississippi. So this update with Trump moving the Space Command to Alabama out of nowhere confirms that, yes, we're having these pilots, international pilots being trained by Nordics how to fly these flying saucers like ships. And those were the updates that I put up. Like when I see confirmation or to explain something from the book a little bit better, I'll just post something up. Or if I get an update, I'll do it with Doc, or I'll go and call Elena or Donnie, and I ask them a couple things, and I'll just do the update on my channel.
Well, before we finish up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
Sure. Always, always share the love that you have for yourself to others. Always be kind. Always have honor and be honorable on the things that you do. Treat others like you want to be treated. Share the truth of humanity in all times. And be part of this story that we're all in together. We're all in the same boat. You know, every 100 or 120 years, there's another batch of humans that live on this earth. And we're here for a reason. And just let this batch of human leave a mark like never before. And share the love. And Akuria Mate. Akuria Mate means, in the Aztec language, heaven to earth. Bring heaven to earth. When you think about heaven, you think about something peaceful and something beautiful. Bring heaven to earth. Akuria Mate. Thank you, Jeff, for having me here. It was a pleasure.
JP, thank you for your message and for being my guest.
JP out.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.